Home. Such a simple word, yet there's so much meaning behind it. Of course, not everyone has a physical home. In fact, I don't believe that home is anything physical. But before we go further into that, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mariam Mekhail. I am 15 years old, and I go to the Swiss International School, Basel. I'm from Egypt and have lived in Basel for roughly 14 years. Let me tell you one amusing thing about being an Egyptian living in Basel. It's not uncommon to be asked where I'm from. And the cause of that is, well, my hair. Especially at a younger age, random people would walk up to me and gasp, "Oh, so much hair! Can I touch it?" My usual reaction was an awkward nod while waiting for the question that was sure to follow. "Fovo where are you from?" I would answer with, "I'm from Egypt," and they'd usually say, "Ah, so how often do you go home?" I remember one time in particular, I was maybe 7, 8 years old, and someone asked me that very question in the same context. I was really confused and answered, "I go home every night, don't you?" The person just laughed, and that's where the conversation ended. So ever since then, I always answer, "I go back to Egypt yearly," when someone asks me that question. But lately, after having conversations like these, I often find myself wondering, was I silly back then to think that home was a house? Should home be a country? Let me ask you guys something. How many of you associate home with a specific country? Please raise your hands. So I'd say about half. That's interesting. That answer was never really enough for me. You know, I always felt conflicted. I felt like I had one foot in Basel and one foot in Egypt. I didn't know if home could be in two places. But then I decided it could, and for some time, that answer was quite satisfying, until my family moved house about a year ago. I remember I was so excited to move, even though we only moved 2 tram stops away from our old house. But after the first few days, I found myself missing my old house, and I didn't understand why. I started wondering, shouldn't I be more excited about a new house? Why was I longing for my old room? Why did I feel homesick? I just couldn't find the answer. But with time, as I started filling my room with silly pictures and decorations and things that I love, I started feeling more familiar, more relaxed. I started feeling more at home. That simple house, that building, transformed into my home. But why do you think that happened? I think that happened because I realized maybe home isn't something physical. Maybe home is a feeling that isn't anchored to a specific place, a feeling that can be moved from one place to another, as I did from my old house to my new one. But if home is a feeling, then why do we often associate it with something physical, like a city, a country, a person, or even our own room? I believe that this is because we need something to spark this feeling of home in us, whether that is your family or a location like your home country, or even a simple activity like going out and catching up with a close friend. What home is depends entirely on you as a person, what your past is, and how you view the world. So, what is home to you? Is it a location? Is it an activity? Or is it something completely different? To me, home is where you will find peace, make good memories, and feel a strong sense of belonging. So, maybe next time, instead of asking someone where home is, start by asking them what it is. Thank you.